Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Is anyone out there? Hello, the world of, I almost said post-apocalyptia. No, this is beyond horse fallout land of East Court Productions. I am trying something new. Big quotes around new. For all of those of you who are a fan of the Fallout Equestria stuff, I have been participating in live events on that channel for almost a year now. We just this weekend crossed HawkCon, and for those who didn't know, last year we stepped boldly and brashly into the advent of live streaming through HawkCon 2017, which I thought, in my opinion, was a total crapshoot. So, I'll let the chat know now. I will try to be as PG as I can, but that's not what we usually do in the East Court Productions streams. So, just FYI. Anyway, so I thought I would give it a try for this channel. Just open up to my full audience, quote unquote, just every one of you who have been such loyal, awesome people on following my own channel and my silly songs for going on over 5 years now. Holy cow. And yes, I'm reading the chat. Hello everyone. Hello Kenny Vargas. Yeah, I thought I'd give it a try over here just because looking back at, kind of looking back through the annals of time, I have started neglecting this over time ever since sort of the development of a lot of the Fallout Equestria stuff, because that was so contained within Stable Tech and then broke free of that, and now it's in its own living, breathing space on East Court Productions. I feel like I have somewhat neglected the actual channel, the main channel. I mean, hell, you look at my year one between that Christmas 2012 when I started like really just doing parodies all the way through essentially the end of university, end of 2013. I was just non-stop like songs. I think there were 2 a week or something. So and really, for many reasons, that slowed down at the beginning of 2014, mainly because I moved and had like full real job and real life and everything. And alternately, that was when Stable Tech really started taking off. And so I was devoting, like, splitting my efforts there. And then, of course, the irony that some of my other biggest works were helping out the L Train with the lyrics and little bits of singing for Moonrise and Fall of an Empire. So it's like really for the channel that started it all, so most of my like most noteworthy works haven't been on here at all. So it's that's just the way the world goes sometimes, isn't it? But oh, good. I'm seeing in the chat. One of favorite songs is the "Don't You Worry, Little Sister." I appreciate that. That was a tricky song. As those who followed my channel for a while know, I will gamble with any kind of song, any kind of musical genre, even if I'm probably gonna suck in it. So so that was one of my early forays into electronic type music. But I was such a fan. I've been a fan of that Swedish House Mafia for a while, and when that song came out, or when I first heard about it, because I usually discover songs much after they actually release, I fell in love with it, and I'm like, I want to do something with this song. This is so amazing, and an instrumental was readily just sitting there from Swedish House Mafia, so I'm like, I gotta do something with that. And the first take was okay, but obviously my successive take was much better, the newer one on the channel. And then I think, I'm not sure if one of those is in one of the albums. I think it might be in the Conventions and Classics album. So, yeah, no, so I thought I'd try out the live stream here and just talk to the more parody side of my collective internet audience and just see what have you guys enjoyed over the last couple of years. What would you like to hear more of? Similar, what genres that you enjoyed, and just talk directly to you, because of course the Fallout Equestria stuff, it devolves into shit posting and stuff too, and obviously it's mainly a repository for my Fallout Equestria fans and confessions and terminal secrets and stuff. So I wanted to come back to this and make sure, and heck, if we have some fun here, because I have a tendency to monologue, as as people know and may enjoy and may also be annoyed by, Needle and James. But if this is something that's popular, or we can have some fun with it, maybe it'll work out. Maybe we'll put a very defined limitation on this. So obviously I'm not going to flood my channel with live streams. Don't worry about that if you're just a regular subscriber kind of person. I'm not going to if I actually did a regular live stream thing, I would set up a secondary channel. But yeah, every once in a while, I think it's worth just trying this out. The song was a DLC song in Just Dance in 2014. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Don't You Worry, Little Sister. Yeah, Don't You Worry, Child. It's fun. Do enjoy the Fallout Equestria shit posting. I'm glad, Sam Man. Yes, the the FOE shit posting is always fun. It's just something good to do. Something just let off some steam. I guess that's been in my my writing journey, from doing just little Weird Al tier parodies to trying more, I don't want to diss Weird Al at all, because his parodies are, very, very wonderful and transformative, or my own stuff. But it's then doing more quote unquote serious music in the Moonrise and stuff, and FOE and proper writing. Yes, yeah, fan albums. L Train is just incredible. I mean, I look back on my own little fan phenomenon on YouTube of trying out this little channel, and I'm still amazed by just the number of things that went right for me to end up working with the L Train and getting to put this little fan fiction idea I had in college once, where essentially I told the story on that other video, but it's I was going to essentially just do a little short parody of a bunch of Phantom of the Opera music that I loved, 6 of the songs, and turn them into a little EP essentially. And then when L Train was open to a sequel to Moonrise, I just had my opportunity to pitch him the idea, and he liked it. So now it's actually a proper album of its own kind, its own musical. I'm seeing in the chat, yes, no, I do respond, and I take suggestions and questions from my fans very seriously, and for the most part, I try to follow the trends of what my fans like, and try to give them more of that, as much as I can. Some of it gets lost in the noise when non-bronies discover a video, usually when it gets popular enough, like the Gorillaz one. I kind of knew when we got the Bad and the Ugly out there. I'm yeah. Once the normal Gorillaz fans discover this, they're not gonna like it. But at the same time, I was surprised it took off at all. I never pictured myself as a rapper in any sense, but rhyming I can do, and so that's still in my top 3 Gorillaz songs, and so I thought, give it a shot, and people seem to like it. Essentially what it came down to was, I think I told this story before too, but I saw the artwork, the actual artwork of that predates it by probably a year or something, of just the Discord as the Ghost, and Twilight as 2D and everything. And honestly, it was just seeing that, and that was my wallpaper for a while too, when I was really getting into Gorillaz, and ended up leading me to make a parody. That's how a lot of parodies come about, actually, is just, it's a song I discover or stumble upon again, or something I follow that I like. like brings it back into the foreground, like DWK with he had the totally legit recap, man, of the first Equestria Girls movie, and so then I was reintroduced to the Bloodhound Gang and the was it the Subtle Touch or whatever, and so that became the Lyra song and the Human Touch, and that was perfect. And similar kind of way with Foster the People, Pumped Up Kicks. So gosh, I was expecting a lot more controversy from that song than worked out, so that was lucky. Anyway, but oh yeah, and some people 99 Problems and Scar. Yeah, 99 Problems, that was another complete out of nowhere hit. I'll be honest, most of my biggest songs, I had no idea they would reach the level they have. Like anything I have in the Six Figure Club is total out of the blue. Like I really don't plan for it, and that's one of many reasons I don't have like more songs in the Six Figure Club, is because I just like some of these trends just come out of nowhere, and I know myself enough where I'm like, I really can't track these trends. It's like what people love, they love. And so that was what, my 6th, I think, Fallout Equestria song. And what essentially was I was getting more involved in stable tech. That was like, mid 2014. And I knew of, obviously, Project Horizons, and I knew of the fandom, but I hadn't read it. I'd read like, I think 5 chapters, the first 5 or so of Blackjack and all that, and I did like it. I actually think it is a stronger opening than the original Fallout Equestria, but at the same time, even then, it was already longer than the original Fallout Equestria, so I was like, I'm not sure if I can tackle this yet. Gotta wait for an audiobook. But it was popular, and especially some of the people in stable tech were like acolytes. Like, they liked Project Horizons much more than the original even. So I'm like, I'll throw them a bone. They seem to like it. And believe it or not, where I first heard the 99 Problems cover, I didn't know of the Jay-Z version, to be honest, the original, but I'd heard the cover by what's that guy's name now? I'm gonna like get in trouble if I don't quote it right. Freaking I think Old Time Religion was the album. That was what is his name? It's probably gonna play through the speakers now. Most popular. Hugo. The guy who did the Western cover, the short Western cover. And I heard that in the credits of the Fright Night remake. Like, how many derivatives is this, essentially? So I was watching the remake of an 80s movie which had a credit song which was a remake of a rap song but as a Western, and then I transmuted that for a horse fan fiction which was a derivative of a previous horse fan fiction that involved Fallout Equestria, and then I did a parody of that. It's like, it's so many levels of transformative that I don't even know where to start. I feel like I need to draw like an evolutionary like tree to track it all. But hell, people loved it. People liked the Blackjack, and obviously that's a very catchy song. And that instrumental I found from I think it was Swing Street Karaoke or whatever was just perfect. So I had to do it. I just had to do it. And then Scar, and that same comment from Nahum Oros. Scar, I was a little bit concerned about because I knew I could do an okay Johnny Cash. That was something I'd like done early on when I actually essentially when my voice settled in after puberty, and I could like figure out what to do with the baritone. I did do some Johnny Cash like in high school, like a high school Battle of the Bands kind of thing. I sung what did I sing? It was either Ring of Fire or Folsom Prison Blues for obvious reasons. And anyway, so I of course the Hurt cover is very famous and almost more famous than the original these days. So I'm like, I could do something fun with that. And but what I wasn't sure of is if enough people would be familiar with the character of Sandstone, Paladin Sandstone from The Ranger. So I I just tried it out. I just threw it out there, but enough people seemed to have, they had heard that or they knew of that enough where, the song could mean something to them. So I was happy about that because I do try that with most of my FOE songs. There's little subtle hints in there for the stories that I involve them with, like the Blue Moon song, obviously, and the Beyond the Sea for the Engineer is obviously beyond the River Styx at the far side of the Plains country. So, Moves Like Jaeger by Maroon 5. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I could sing Maroon 5. He can get up there. I could look into that though. I pictured Applejack and Russell Hobbs instead of Pinky in Bad and the Ugly. Oh yeah, it's like I said, I can't picture like the original art, of course, but I thought Pinky as Russell was an interesting choice. I'm not sure. I think the idea was that for the original artist was, Pinky's like half possessed with all the ghosties and the Pinky senses and everything. I'm glad people like the Villainy album. Yeah, that was always that was always meant to be honest, because I was the guy growing up where it's like please don't read into this too deeply with all the Freudian Jungian psychology majors about how I always connected with the villain song the most in the Disney in all the Disney animated movies. So it's like I don't know, they always seem to have the best songs, whatever it was. It's like the what is it, the song from Lion King with Scar and I don't know. The villains get the best songs, man. That's like a movie like trope. Even then when the Pony movie came out, of course, I connect instantly. She does get reformed at the end, but I connect instantly with the Fizzleberry Pop, our little Tempest Shadow song in the middle. And so then, of course, then by happenstance, our resident, he's our lead now at Balefire Symphony, James Kelly, he came to me and he's like, oh, okay, I did the instrumental. I love this song. And I'm like, dude, I love this song too. And he hands me essentially that great instrumental he'd already done. And I'm like, well, shit, we got to do this now. And and of course, I'd been singing the song for 4 weeks anyway. So we put it out there and bam, now it's the biggest thing on the East Corp channel, like 13,000 views. Gosh, it's not that I'm bad, it just keeps happening that way. So so I like a lot of those like villainy, like big musical songs, and after 2-3 years, then there were enough of them that it's like, okay, I gotta put out a fresh compilation album of all the villainy songs, and then and of course all these albums give me a chance to essentially like clean up the old stuff. I rerun it through my software. I redo all the EQing. I redo some of the reverb and compression and all that good stuff to make it sound good. And sometimes I'll do retakes too, where I'm like, okay, that harmony is totally junk, and now I have a slightly better sense of tune than I did back then. So let's re-sing that. And luckily, my voice doesn't seem to have changed in the last, 7 years. So hopefully that stays pretty consistent for another decade or so. Yeah, however long Pony lasts. I don't know how much voice changes. I remember when I first got glasses in college, I had read, eyes, change quite a bit until you're, 27, which I'll be this year. So that'll be, hopefully then my glasses and my eyes will, set, and I don't have to get new glasses, but I usually like to anyway, just to have fresh pair, kind of a new year. I have good eye plans, so I can get a new pair of glasses every year, so I usually do. Let's see here. Back to the chat. We're seeing, Villainy album. Oh, yeah, and then the September and October Sky. So September was another one where it's I really, obviously, because everyone liked the Tombstone version, which was great, but it was just vague enough where it's vague enough in a way that popular songs always are, because then you can imprint your own stuff onto them. But me as the writer, I'm like, okay, I want to put a story to this though. And so then when Actually, the October Sky song came first. Yeah. So then Eve Dog, he wrote that the October Sky like follow-up song, and he did the same thing where he essentially laid out his own like story on top of the September. And I think they had a November song too, and they were gonna do more, but it didn't really catch on. But I really loved October Sky. I thought that was like a really fitting sequel in a Rainbow Factory and Awoken kind of way. So I was like, oh man, these are great. You know, what kind of story of my own could I imprint onto these two and redo them myself? You know, give me a chance to sing them and stuff. And so then I found Prince Whateverer's cover of September, and I'm like, this is perfect. Okay, we're going to use this. And the September one worked out. And then I was going to do the October Sky just the next month, October of 2013. And then fudge me that all my midterms, that was my last semester of college, and my midterms completely cornholed my schedule. Like, so bad. Like, I've been trying to do this for like damn 5 years now. I was going to have a big Halloween party, and I had to just cancel it outright 1 week before Halloween because I was just swamped in studying. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't buy decorations or gather music or anything. So I just put that off, and then the next year rolled around, and I was in Virginia, and then I got stuck on this crazy project where I was on a damn ship, an aircraft carrier, for like 2 weeks. This project for 2 weeks, it was 90-hour weeks. I'm not kidding. Where it's like we worked Saturday to Friday, or what is it? Like Monday through Saturday, and it was like 12-hour days, and it just like, again, my time disappeared. And yeah, so then then when the next October rolled around, I was like, I'm going to do it this year. And even though I was then in the process of moving, where I literally like packed everything and left in October of 2015, at least I got the song out, and I was so happy. So then I'm like, okay, that's done. Gonna put out the Villainy album, and it's wrapped. And yeah, luckily people liked that. The other thing for the Villainy album too is I was able to then do my last final, because I'm never touching it again, take of the of the Rainbow Factory, where the first time I did it, I was trying to do some kind of neat like a cappella kind of thing, and it kind of worked but kind of really didn't. And so then the next year or something, I think that was for Halloween yeah, it was months later, because I did the first Rainbow Factory cover in, like, March, and I was really happy, because, you know, I do put a lot of time into the little graphics, the album art, and I was really happy with how I had, like, edited the Rainbow Factory logo and everything. I thought it looked neat, so, so I put that out, and it was just okay, and, you know, then months later, I think for that Halloween, then I'm like, okay, this sucks. I gotta bring in some music, and so I layered in those instrumentals, like the harpsichord and the strings and the heavy like drums, and that sounded a lot better. And I also had a chance to again clean up some of the harmonics and stuff, so people seemed to decently enjoy that. So it all came together. Vinyl Scratch in the comments. The sky is the limit. Thank you, Vinyl. That was that was one of the unintended consequences of when I was choosing the name SkyBolt. It was really like, I didn't think about it at the time, but after the fact, I've discovered how pliable the word is for wordplay, like puns and stuff. Like, I'd already used the Pun Sky blog on the Eastcourt podcast a few times, and like, yeah, it's funny how many things I can use it for. So I just did something plain like SkyBolt Livestream for this, just for you know, those fans that probably don't follow East Corp or don't understand any of that other stuff, or what we usually do. So hopefully some new fans out there, that 5,000 sub difference, you might enjoy this. You see, I was one of those guys. I grew up on so much talk radio, just because. Not necessarily talk radio like you're thinking, but like morning zoo kind of radio, where we have Northern California, we have these talking heads, Rob, Arnie, and Don. They used to be Rob, Arnie, and Don. They're split up years ago, and a whole bunch of other wacky DJs like, oh God, what were their names? Dog and Joe and all those people. So anyway, I grew up on a lot of like morning show bits like that, and I don't know. My family's pretty talkative too, so we I have a pretty easy monologuing podcasting kind of cadence. I can go on for a while. I'm trying to think of what my longest like monologue live stream was. I think I've done like 3 hours at some point, but I won't berate you with that channel because this is pretty new. So maybe we'll have a hard cut at an hour or something. But at the same time, I wanted to open it up for just anyone that wanted to ask questions or give ideas or suggestions. Just reach out to the audience and see what you've enjoyed over the years, what you'd like to hear more of. Because now that my life is finally, hopefully, like equalized for a while. I'm settled back in Northern California, and I'm not going anywhere. No more moves, no more changing jobs. So it's like I want to put a little bit more love back into this original channel, and yeah, just see what other silly pony parodies you'd like to hear. Definitely gonna have more compilation albums coming out too, because there's still like 2 or 3 dozen songs from like the old days, like 2013 and 14, that I haven't remastered yet. So, of different sizes and varieties, like the Applejack cat dog cover, things like that. So yeah, those definitely, they need a new place. They need to live at home on a new compilation album. So one of those will be coming at some point. Story. Let's see here. Creepy as heck. Zodia195. I found your channel through the Brony collab. Do They Know It's Christmas? Oh, I'm glad. Yeah. No, that was great. That was Sid or Sid. I forget how he pronounces it. I knew him from that one project that died, the Last Stand of Harmony thing. I think that's where we connected through. And yeah, no, it was very, very fun to be able to work with him on several different songs from that and the Is This the New Year? And then the what was it? I was just on the last album too. The You'll Find Your Place or whatever, the Twilight Princess song where I got to play the Luna part. So that was pretty great. I got to play Night Horse. Yeah, so that was great, and just to get to work with Mando Pony in a very tangential way was fun too, even though obviously I had like no contact with him during the production. But I did get to talk to him quite a bit at the one BronyCon I went to. So that was fun. Like there's a pony version prepared with the one with Nightmare Moon's SkyBolt. Not sure what song you mean then, but yeah. Oh yeah. Then of course I did the Be Prepared cover. When is your birthday? My birthday is in August 17th. So that's been fun. It's kind of nice having a birthday like at the beginning of the school year, because it's like it's sort of like a split, because sometimes school has started and sometimes school hasn't started yet. So it's like it's either like a big end of the summer party for you and your friends. Obviously, Northern Hemisphere. I'm not trying to exclude all my Australian or whatever followers. Just this Northern Hemisphere. We have that time frame. So yeah, it's either the end of summer party or it's the beginning of school. Like, let's forget about school and do something for a little bit. So yeah, it's been fun. Oh God, that story is creepy as heck. It's probably the Project Horizons or something. Let's see here. Is your OC an Outlacorn? No. I know, looking back, I probably shouldn't have done it the way that I did it, but essentially I still have basically no art skills, so I wasn't able to really get across the point the way I wanted to. if you remember my very old song, or if not, just go check it out. There's like a remastered version on the last Conventions and Classics album, is the Cybernetically, which was my ponification of anthropology by Awkward Marina, where essentially it was the backstory of my actual OC of SkyBolt is that he's like is like Automail. He's Winry Rockbell, essentially, because I unironically actually was thinking of going into mechanical biomedical engineering and getting into like design of like prosthetic limbs and stuff, because I was working around a lot of like prosthetic limbs and things in a veterans hospital. So that was like really something I thought could be really neat, because you get to bring in like material science and sort of that Deus Ex kind of like you're integrating the non-living with the living. I don't know, in a sort of spiritual sense. I always found that really fascinating. So it's another thing I never actually, another story I didn't actually write, but it's, the essential backstory is like a steampunky thing where the SkyBolt, like he builds fresh parts for horses, and that's what the cutie mark is. The lightning bolt in the gear is essentially like extending their life force into the prosthetics, so that it's like really them, kind of thing. If you ever saw that movie Iron Fist, that's essentially what it is. With this, like, the guy loses his hands, and the shaman or whatever, he like gives the like iron gloves just attached to his forearms, and nothing happens with him until he teaches him like the feng shui or the key or whatever it was, and he was like able to like extend his soul into the iron hands and make the fingers move. So that's more or less what it is. Like, I actually have an arc too. I thought of a whole plot arc to go with it, but I never ended up writing it. But the yeah, so that's what the Cybernetically song is. It's just like, it's an exposition, like literally, and like an old timey like World's Fair kind of expo where he's like, trying to sell all the fun clockwork wings and goods. Yeah, I actually found out you wrote the things for the L Train. Yeah, I'm glad. I had tons of fun with Moonrise and Fall of an Empire, and they're definitely, definitely probably the thing I'll be most known for, just because I got to work with L Train, who actually has real musical talent. So, yeah, I hope that can transform into like getting to write like a full-length musical. Now that I could do some really fun stuff with. Like, I think we essentially have like a Disney musical like breadth of like actual songs in Fall of an Empire. It's just with like those musicals, of course, you have like the dialogue and the animation segments and stuff. And so I always thought that would be great to be able to do that and also write dialogue. Like if I had the chance, I could totally fill in all the blanks in Fall of an Empire with dialogue that would fit much better. It's essentially, I would take out all of my own segments, most of my own segments of the storyteller, and actually turn them into dialogue bits. Like the part in what is it? Right after the opening song, the Welcome to the Empire, and also right after the love song of the Crossroads of Life, there would be whole segments sort of like establishing a little bit more backstory behind what I was going for there, and I've sort of gone into the details on that in that one Fall of an Empire like behind the scenes video, so you can check that out. Pony parody of Troublemaker by Ollie Murphy featuring Florida. I would have to look that up. Troublemaker, Florida. Parody of If I Die Young by the band Perry. Huh, that I might have to look up too. If I Die Young. When I first saw it, I instantly thought of the "Oh, you wanna die young?" Yeah, the what's her name song, and that one great I think it's technically the anthropomorphic animation to die young that one girl made. That was really, really incredible. That was fun. Yeah. The wings are artificial. His SkyBolt's just a regular unicorn, and actually not that spectacular. It's I do kind of regret that, but that's I didn't have any I had no artistic skills, and so the only thing loosely mechanical looking in that original General Zoi's creator was the mechanical looking wings. So I went with that. Yeah, so I know the contention of alicorn OCs is a very fierce one within the fandom. He's not an alicorn. He's an average unicorn, like Rarity, but instead of fashion, it's mechanical horse parts. Do I still watch MLP? Kind of. That's the other thing. I haven't been watching the show religiously, every week when it comes out or whatever. So I usually watch it in chunks where it's once a month or so. I'll watch the last 3 or 4 or whatever and kind of catch up. But lately, yeah, it's been kind of burning out for me. I don't know. It's just different phases of life and stuff, and it's really sort of a marathon. I feel like I'm in the last stretch of an Ironman competition where it's I've gone through the first few phases and now it's just getting to the finish line. And really the finish line in a lot of ways is wrapping Confessions of Wasteland Pony, because that is the marathon these days, is just getting that story finished, because now I'm so damn close. It's I'm only months away from getting episode 7 out there, and then there's maybe 1 or 2 or 3 more left, and a lot of them are much more written than 7. They didn't have all the problems I had with the middle of 7's story arc. So if you want, I can help write an audio drama, musical, theater, and voice acting. Yeah, I mean, keep paying attention to the East Corp channel. We do put out the audition videos and stuff, and they just finish up casting and stuff for the Terminal Secrets episode 9 and 9. Oh my gosh, 5. Terminal Secrets 5, which was the last one I wrote, which is Awake, which I'm very proud of the way the story unfolded. I really hope people enjoy it. If you like the first 2, I assume you'll enjoy it. It's it's interesting with writing. It's I try not to write to, I guess, to a formatted context. What I really try to stay true to is my own writing style in a way, where I don't try to cut corners around what I think should be there. If I feel a section needs an extra bit of explanation, I don't know, not set direction, the what's the word, scene setup kind of thing, in, for instance, The Engineer, which was the first big super long Confessions. Some of those parts of okay, they're on the highways now, how much time do I put into, they're walking on these empty Mad Max style highways. And it's it has to be enough. I have to describe the journey that they make from the Oasis slave camp to Mare Island, and what that journey is like, and why is Mare Island so remote, and why is it no one has reached it yet. And so I'm okay, I gotta fill in the sections about what life is like on the road, what the feelings, the emotions, and it gave me a chance to then have the little backstory segment with Amber Glow and Sparky, where it's okay, they're starting to fall in love, so he's starting to get to know her, so she then opens up about their past and growing up in Stable 80 and what they didn't really understand, but the diseases that kept cycling through the stable and killing off the older people. And then it gives you a chance to be they're walking in all this empty farmland that has just been bombed to oblivion, and then it gets more dense, and they don't even have silos to draw food from. Why? Why is that? And so then they finally make it to the island, and then they learn about the Mars guns and about how they intercepted every missile, every mega spell that came toward it with essentially a counter mega spell. And so that's essentially the backstory for New Vegas, where Mr. House had his and Capistan style like private military missile interceptors, so he was able to like save the core of Vegas, and then like, you know, the Flamingo Boulevard and and the southern casinos like the Luxor got bombed to smithereens, but he was able to keep the stratosphere intact. This lucky 38. Yeah, so anyway, my point is that I try to stay true to my own writing acumen because that's what people are connecting to. It's sort of the storyteller's voice, I guess you could say. So I try to differentiate it enough between characters, like the way the character is telling it based on their own emotions and their own causality. But for the sake of the audience, it's like when you read a Stephen King book or a Michael Crichton book. It's like, you know it's them, just the way the story is told. And I feel like it's more benefit to everyone to stay true to that voice, both for my own style, you know, perfecting it, honing the diamond out of the coal, and for the audience, because obviously they connect to it in some way, so I want to make sure they're getting more of what they expect. You know, I don't want to throw, like, major curveballs. And then when I get another, like, sort of writing avenue, like Terminal Secrets, then, of course, my writing for Terminal Secrets is done in a much different way. So then people can connect to that if they like that sort of thing. Okay, back to the chat. Time to scroll up. Wow, 11 watching. Thank you, guys. Alternate version of Mando Pony's Elements of Harmony songs. You know, yeah, I gotta go back and see. Did they ever finish up the, did they ever do an Honesty song? You know, the big one, Mando Pony and Acoustic Brony guys, where they had Loyalty, of course, that everyone knows. And then they started working their way through them all. They had Generosity, and did they do Laughter or Magic? I know they did like 4 or 5 of them, and there was one of them they didn't do. I don't know if they ended up getting Honesty, Applejack. If they did, though, I would absolutely take that instrumental and go crazy with it. Because, you know, Applejack still holds a special place in my heart. I know in recent years I've sort of wavered a bit, and, like, I respect Rarity more as a character of the main 6, you know, just talking horse fandom stuff. I like Rarity a lot, but it's like, I can't betray that, like, that Applejack, I even talked in one of the Sky blogs for the East Corp channel about like if you had to have one of them as your roommate. That's sort of my metric for choosing a best pony, is like, could you live with this person, you know, for long term? And it's like, I think I ended up coming to Sunset Shimmer as like my decision maker, but like Rarity and Applejack were close seconds for different reasons. It's like, I could live with Rarity because she's, you know, much more, you know, she'd keep a clean house for the most part, which is a big deal for me. Messy roommates can be a nightmare because I'm generally a clean person. But at the same time, she can also be kind of like uppity and like controlling, so she'd probably like hog the TV and stuff. Anyway, so yeah, so I still go back to Applejack as best pony. Featuring Flowride. Yes, I read that comment. Yeah, Vizipop. She's the one that did that Die Young animation. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I like some of those. Like MLP on season 8, second to last of the Generation 4. Is season 9 the last season? Wow. I gotta say, I do kind of like what they're doing with season 8, where it's like they're transitioning into like, it's sort of like the end of the arc, where they're like, okay, the Elements of Harmony, they did their job, and so now they're sort of like handing over the reins to the next generation, and you've got the reformed changeling, and you've got the yak and all that stuff. So that's kind of nice. It's like, you know, they're handing it off to the next generation. So yeah, maybe that'll be the cutoff for me. So once Gen 4 ends, then I'll more or less, like, you know, take a bow out of things in general. Plus, I don't know. All I know is that the next year is still good to go, and I still got lots of confessions to finish. So we got one more year at the very least, and maybe a little more. I would love to hear a ponyfied parody of Believer by Imagine Dragons. You know, that is That is something on my list. That's for sure. I very much loved Believer when it came out. Dragons. And especially the solo artwork, or not solo, the single release artwork they had for Believer, where it's the 3 like colored light columns, which almost look like a bunch of Tron cycles like dropping onto the plane. I really love the look of that. And yeah, I don't know what it is about Imagine Dragons. They've got a certain just a certain quality that obviously elevated them into like stratosphere of like artists nowadays. But it's like, luckily also, it's like something that apparently I connect with enough where people seem to enjoy my Imagine Dragons songs. So definitely there's probably going to be one more parody of them, and Believer is definitely high up on the list of probable parodies of them. Oh yeah, No Wacking's parody of All About the Bass Cannon. I remember back when Discovery Family got MLP FIM. They had a contract for 5 seasons. Okay, interesting. That's probably true. I really don't know about the behind the scenes business side of things. I'll be honest, I'm not as connected with like formal like capital letters horse fandom as I probably could be. I don't check Equestria Daily all that often or anything like that. It's just Equestria Daily was mainly for my own sake. Was like I had to sort of disconnect from the trends of popularity, because that was honestly starting to affect me in a really negative way, where it was like, it's the competition. It's like, man, I didn't get, a featured music thing again, and this song turned out really good or whatever. So had to sort of, it's just getting a little too intense. Maybe that's why I drew back on my song count too. I had to go back to the core of things, which were doing the song, the parody, because I thought there was something fun there, and it was a fun, creative release for me, which was the whole point. It was like having a creative outlet when I was stuck doing nothing but a bunch of freaking math and algebra for years in college, and all my other creative outlets had sort of dried up. Of course, everyone has their own writing styles and have their own voice of the way they write. A parody of Perfect 2. It's another one I'll have to look up. Perfect 2. There's no AJ in Gen 5. Yeah, she probably would get dropped. It's unfortunate. I don't know. Well, I can take some guesses as to why, the fans connected to her the least, and the meme about her becoming a background pony started, which is unfortunate. I feel like, obviously I feel like it's undeserved, but that's just the way, way the cookies crumble. It's what people connect to, and I think Farm Horse with like a big rural family is much rarer of an audience of the show than, say, Fluttershy, which is just essentially like, which is sort of the introvert like archetype pony, which is honestly probably a large portion of brony fandom. And ironically, I think that's the same reason that Rainbow Dash is the most favorite character, is because she's sort of a vector of confidence, which I think a lot of people connect to in sort of a spiritual sense. People like the people they want to be, essentially. Where it's like, you think of the heroes, like, go all the way back to Superman, 100, not 100, but like 80 years ago. The whole archetype of Superman is for people to have a figure of strength, literally supernatural strength, who can conquer obstacles that literally, like, other people can't. It's sort of it's what most people see in their sort of like, what's the right word? Escapist fiction. and that goes with sci-fi and fantasy and cop shows. Obviously, everyone's, for the most part, is imagining themselves as like the cop or the FBI agent, like solving the crime and being the one to like uncover the truth as this like guardian of, law or right and wrong or something. So it's anyway, I'm getting getting way too philosophical about magical horses again. Time to time to bring that back. The generation. What is your favorite song from Generation 4, including Equestria Girls? God, that would be hard. I don't know. I mean, I could give like a favorite song or two for each season, you know, because that'd be a little bit easier to narrow down. But amongst competition, that's hard. Like, obviously, season 1, what really grappled me in was the winter wrap up, and then and the rarity songs. Popular whatever, and the dress songs. God, I haven't listened to those in so long. The old songs. And what was the final song? The At the Gala. At the Gala was a big one for me because I binged season 1 all in one weekend. So it was like I watched all 26 episodes. So At the Gala was what I was left off on for the 2 months before season 2 started airing. So that holds a special place in my heart. So if it were like a question with nostalgia as a factor, probably At the Gala would be at the top. But yeah, and then the other stuff like, what is the season 2 closer? It's the Cadence and Chryslis Bug Horse song. God, yeah, no, that's part of the other problems. I'd have to go through like the soundtrack albums again and really see what all those songs were, because there's a lot of them that just sort of like drop out. Obviously, the season 3 finale that had some quality songs. That's still I'm one of the few people that really enjoyed the season 3 finale, and you go from True Friend and the Celestia's Ballad and what was the other one? What My Cutie Mark Is Telling Me. So, yeah, that's hard. I really don't know what I'd choose. In general, I just got to go back to all those old songs again and sort of relive it. I'll be at 2 cons this year, is BabsCon and Everfree Northwest. I haven't been to Everfree in a long time now. And, yeah, we'll have to, it's one final good trip on the nostalgia train before we see how things go. AJ is still there. Doesn't like the country kind of voice. Yeah, that could be it. Some people don't like that kind of southern accent thing. Gen 5, the main 6 are going to be different. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Are they staying with the same style and then they're just going to do the whole show sort of like a spin-off, but they're going to use the new characters that they've been featuring in all the season 8 promos? Probably. I just don't know. I'm way out of the loop on news in general. Because I unplugged sort of from fan fiction like releases and stuff too, because I'm so afraid of like stealing ideas or concepts. I'd hate to be that kind of guy. Like coming to similar kind of parodies, I guess you could say, in Fallout Equestria, that's one thing. It's like, if I create something and then someone's like, oh, that's really similar to this from Fallout Equestria Heroes. And I'm like, okay, well, I didn't read Heroes, so I swear I'm not ripping that off. It's just something that happens. But at the same time, with like 200 plus like derivative Fallout Equestria fictions, it's like, yeah, there's probably a lot of things that are like that, because we're all drawing it from that same thing from the Fallout universe, like Vault 34 or something. So anyway, I guess I've sort of insulated myself from fan fiction for that reason, and yeah, a little bit out of the loop on fan fiction. Ponification of Evil King from Songs of Time by Nat Wants to Battles. I could take a look at that. Rewrite Pegasus Device by Sylphstorm, or Pony parody of Crystals by of Monsters and Men. There are some good of Monsters and Men songs I should consider, because they are still one of my favorites, and and yet I still don't have their newest album. It's I don't know. I'm horribly out of the loop on like current trends. That's I don't know. It's like I discovered the Monsters and Men second album like 3 years after it came out, and I still haven't listened to their newest album. So I'm just terrible with that. I'm the boss from Biggest Baddest Bosses. I live in Texas, and my parents live in the country, so I do relate to AJ a lot. She's ranked number 3 behind Flutters and Pinky. Okay, yeah. It's really all about the person. Like I said, I'm trying not to dive into the psychology behind it, but it's like everyone sort of does have their own psychology of why that's best pony for them, and it could be for so many numerous reasons that it's not even worth like creating a trend line unless you did some kind of like really elaborate social experiment about it. Like for some people, it could be something as simple as like the songs. Like Rarity has the best songs, so I like Rarity. Or Pinky has the funniest like, you know, you're a fan of physical comedy, so you love the zaniness, so you like Pinky the most. It could be for any numerous reasons. This Day Aria, yes. Of course, This Day Aria. I was thinking of the aria, but I was like, yeah, didn't quite have that. Do a parody of Hey There Delilah. You are in luck, my friend. I did a parody of Hey There Delilah very early on. That's actually one of my first parodies. It's called Hey There Fluttershy, and it's in like January of 2013 or something like that. So you check that out if you like it. A lot of people seem to like it too. That song has a very high download count, especially on Pony.fm, where I co-host a lot of my download links. It took off there, where it's got like I think 20 favorites and like 100 or 200 downloads. So that did really well over there. So obviously some people seem to enjoy it. And again, it was like a little backstory opportunity writing for me. So Count on Me by Bruno Mars. Yeah, I did the one Bruno Mars song in that I Want to Be a Billionaire So Bad song with the one guy. It used to be, I kind of want to release the vanilla version of that at some point, which is just sort of like my vocal demo where it's just me. I feel like the song works better if it's just the one character voice. I don't know. We sort of wrote it together, but it's like it's so many years on now. I might try just releasing that. Maybe in the compilation album I'll include it with that. See if people liked that, and use the opportunity to remaster a little bit. I have a question. Would you do a collab on a gender bent rewrite of Let It Go? I've had Let It Go as a idea suggestion a few times, and you know what it is. Maybe now that like the Frozen sequel like talk is starting to rise up in like the news, maybe I will do a Let It Go cover now. One of the many reasons I avoided it at the time was A, I was moving, so I lost like 6 months of momentum on that. B, the song was so, popular / unpopular that everyone heard it, and everyone heard like 20 different parodies of it, that I thought the market was way oversaturated. And I actually thought back in 2013 or 2014 anyway, if I had done a parody of it, that people would just hate me or I'd lose subscribers because it was just more to the noise. So, but yeah, now a few years removed, I think I would do a cover of Let It Go. That could be fun. Now what that cover would be about, that's a whole different question, but I do have a few ideas that I think would be fun / funny. We'll see what happens. You keep an eye out for that. Also, what's the website again? I do have my own website that I never update, but I did essentially like I have the SkyBolt's music domain name reserved. Let's see if it's even still up. SkyBoltsmusic.com. No? Oh no, maybe my Squarespace login lapsed or something where the page is invisible, but I still own the domain name, I'm pretty sure. So, but no, for my own news, it's just, this channel, the East Corp channel, Facebook is big. I've the Facebook page I drop memes on all the time, and same with the East Corp Facebook page. Those are where a lot of the fun banter is going on, and also a little bit on Twitter. I'm starting to use that more, and going through a bit of a transition. It's like Twitter's kind of tricky because Twitter is very political, so I'm sort of like, I'm having to cull some of my own follows and just mute a few, like kind of show people you follow and like celebrities you follow, and it's like their entire timeline is like half politics. So I'm like, okay, I don't want my timeline to be half politics, so I'm just gonna slowly start muting those out. So anyway, Twitter is unknown quantity, but Facebook and Facebook and then the East Corp Facebook are great for just banter and memes. Those are just fun. Yes, SkyBolt stream only, just to see how it goes on here. I would also like to see you do a This Is. Oh, you liked my part in This Is the New Year collab. Yes, thank you. I'll be honest, this is a little selfish, but one of my favorite parts about all those collabs were just the fact that I got artwork out of it all. You know, I had a new drawing of SkyBolt from each of those, and a lot of those made for just great like profile pictures and stuff too. So, let me pull that up real quick. There is the come on now, where is it? Come on, OBS, work with me here. This is so slow. Okay, here we go. So it's like I had this great one from the Do They Know It's Christmas? If it's gonna appear, come on, drop in the screen. Drop in the screen. It's not gonna load, is it? Damn it. Okay, it might not load, but I got some great art out of it from This Is the New Year, and the Silent Night cover was fun too when we did the 5-part acapella to the Pentatonics Silent Night, and I did the tenor 1 part, I think. And the artist that drew all our characters, she drew them all very cutesy, but my character especially looks like extremely like high and just like so kawaii, it's like ridiculous. So so that's great. Now I got a lot of fun art, and all those were great collabs to be a part of. Website for the audio drama. Yeah, no, if you guys have stuff, you can drop links in the chat. That's totally fine. A parody of Light 'Em Up. I will have to look that up too. Light 'Em Up. Okay. Oh yeah, thanks for the memories by Fall Out Boy. Yeah, I've listened to quite a bit of Fall Out Boy and American Rejects. I'll have to look some of those up. See what I can find. I know. What was it? Was it an American Rejects song I'd been wanting to do a parody of? You know what I think it was? It was the. Shoot, what was it? I think it was from the Nightmare Revisited album, where I really wanted the American Rejects instrumental of Making Christmas. I think that's what it was. And I wanted to, like, you know, obviously do my spin on that for Christmas one year, but I couldn't find an instrumental for it. And I don't really have anyone in my circle of friends right now who could do that, or even if they could do it, would be able to, either for monetary reasons or otherwise. So yeah, it's just whenever I stumble upon a good instrumental, then fun stuff can happen. So you love the fan art? Yes, no, I love all the fan art of my characters. That's always great. And there's I don't think there's one bad piece of art someone's done of SkyBolt that I found yet. They all are meaningful in one way or another. Let It Go rewrite. Oh yeah, you might have to separate links by putting a dot in parentheses or something. I know certain people have gotten around that before. Mainly, I think the reason they instituted that in the YouTube system was for, like, advertiser bots. Like, they were dropping, like, hyperlinks to, you know, donate to the Nigerian prince or whatever. And, you know, it was weird. It was like a control against like sort of classical internet like viral ad marketing. But anyway, yeah, Let It Go. That would be a fun parody. All right, we're a little bit over an hour here, so I don't know what do you guys want? Do you have any other ideas? Any other stories you wanted to ask me about or want me to talk about? Oh, Dirty Little Secrets by American Rejects. That would be a good one. Dirty Little Secrets. Oh, you know what? I just remembered the song I've been dying to do. What is the title of the song now? It's by FM Static. FM Static songs. Is it Boy Meets Girl? Yeah, Boy Meets Girl by FM Static. That's one I've been dying to do a cover of. I love that song, but I cannot find a good instrumental anywhere. It's just got a great like progression and the chorus and everything. She moves just like a rocket scream. Oh God, I suck at remembering lyrics on the fly. Shooting through the sky just to make you want, and when fireworks go off, whenever she comes my way. God, it's anyway, if I ever did find an instrumental, it would sound good. I would write it very fun. I'd probably write it as a rarity song, like a Girl Next Door kind of thing. That's more or less one of the problems I had this year with the Valentine's Day songs, is I'm like, okay, I want another good Valentine's Day song because the Human Touch did so well last year that I'm like, I feel like I have to follow that up with something really solid. And luckily, I stumbled on the old Zoot Suit Riot song again and was reminded of that and was able to make something fun and tongue-in-cheek with that. So it worked out pretty well. But, yeah. Oh, yeah, of course, there's probably a band actually named Boy Meets Girl. Are you open to collabs with other VAs? Oh, yeah, no, I'm always open to collabs and stuff. It really just depends on just getting it to work out, more or less. But no, some of my biggest songs have been from collabs with, like, not like, just lesser-known people or whatever, like the, where is it now? The, Mayor of Nightmare Night. That was, that was sent in by this one, just this one fan, Mendacious Faith, who had completely rewritten and parodied the Beasts of Pirate Bay song by Voltaire, and he had an instrumental to go with it too, and it was just like, again, it was just like perfect. Like both of them were just ready, so I'm like, hell yeah, I'll sing it. That sounds great. And we got it all edited on the back end and everything. And even Voltaire, or really Voltaire himself, saw it and heard the song and he liked it. So that was great. I still have that tweet screenshotted somewhere. So great stuff can happen just out of the blue. So yeah, if you do want to like collab or something, just send me an email to SkyBoltMusic with no S, just SkyBoltMusic@gmail.com, and we'll get to talking and see if it can work out. Oh God, yeah, good times. Parody of Fire in the Flames by Dragon Force. Yeah, I probably can't do that singing. That is a fun song. It's definitely a very, a great time capsule song for me. But like real, like hardcore metal screaming or singing, I can't do. That would probably blow out my voice in one way or another. In fact, I was just at a concert a few nights ago of this band Nothing More, and it's just like. Even that, like, it's just like, it's beyond my reach. Like, I push myself in certain limits, but it's like, if I know, even if I know it's not going to sound good, or if I think it's outside of the realm of worth trying, I won't do either, because obviously I don't want to, like, stain the channel too much. It's like, I like gambling, but if it's, like, uncomfortable to do or painful also, it might be beyond my reach. Metal singing. There you go. Yeah, no, some people can. I had a friend who was really good at doing, like, the screamo type stuff, and I still don't understand how people do that. It's something they do with their throat or their mouth or something, and I'm like, I'd lose my voice in, like, 2 or 3 tries. Even a few of the songs I have put out there on my channel are, like, the result of, like, several separate takes or whatever, where I had to rest my voice in between so it doesn't, like, go overboard. I even notice in some metal singer shows, like Metallica or whatever, they'll do the James Hetfield, the lead singer, he'll do, like, 1 octave lower for stage performance, or he'll, like, kind of sing it in a different way than you hear on the album. And it's like, to some extent, that's because, you can only do so much, like production when you're doing a live playing, with the way that so many songs are done these days. But some of it is just him, like, kind of keeping the voice under control for the live performance. So anyway, so I try, but it's not some songs, it just, you wouldn't want to hear it, so I just don't do them. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I am Shadow. She has been definitely bestie friend for doing musics and stuff. She has been a very reliable a reliable, like, female, like, for duets and stuff, because I can't quite do a voice like that as much as I wish I could, make things as simple as possible. But no, she's always been reliable, and she's hung on for confessions too, which is a blessing, because I like bringing her character back. It's always fun having some battered blade. Ooh, Streetlight Manifesto. That's another one I've heard of. I haven't listened to that, though, I think, in a while. So a lot of stuff to go through. Okay, well, I think this was a pretty fun stream. Got a few good ideas in, and got to talk to you, chat, for a while. Yeah, just skyboltmusic@gmail.com. It should be on my channel description too, I think. I haven't looked at that in a while. But yeah, that's where you can send me any kind of ideas for parodies or collabs or whatever. And I usually try to chat with people whenever I can, get at least keep the lines open. Obviously, if it can't work out, sometimes it just can't work out for whatever reason. But the door is open. Anyway, I think I might go get dinner and take off. So thank you guys for being a fan. And Zodia195. I'm seeing most of the posts. Let me see here. Let me scroll through. Collab. Oh yeah, the Last Stand of Harmony lullaby song. Yeah, I'm glad people enjoyed that. That was like that was the that was like the sort of the most, like, complete musical thing we could salvage from Last Stand of Harmony. Another one was the song Moonsy did by herself, which was just the sort of guitar and strings. What was it called? It's on her pony.fm. I think it's called, like, Sunrise something or other. That's a really nice song, and it's got like 10,000 downloads or something. And yeah, the lullaby song with her piano really worked out. Question by DJ Pyrotechnits. You might have to restate it. I'm looking at the live chat, which is supposed to show everything, but not. I'm not seeing it. Won't send us links. You can do singing for metal band. You can do deep metal better. It looks like I'm seeing everything I can. I don't know. If you're not sure if I wrote something, it might be worth just typing it again. I am trying to keep track of the chat, but stuff can get lost. Would you be impressed? Three of us and We Will Fall Together are some songs by Streetlight to check out. Okay, I will do that. Oh yeah, they're the band, not the song. That's right. Sometimes you don't know with music. It could be the band or the song. Would you be impressed? Have you ever tried to write and sing an original MLP song based on Fallout Equestria or Fallout Horizon, Project Horizons? Yeah, I mean, I think the most famous version of that was when I did the parody of the Luna's, what was it called? Luna's Dream? Or Luna's something or other from the Starlight Glimmer Carol of the Bells, where I did the Fallout Equestria version of that. Luna's Future, that's it, where she was the ghost of Christmas Future. And yeah, I did the Fallout Equestria rewrite of that, where the character was talking to the Luna on the throne, because Celestia had already abdicated and all that. And so I had, I framed it in a way such that it's like some, like, you know, random off the street, like, prophetic, like, hobo character. Just kind of, just to fit the music and the scene. And, yeah, I had fun with it. I always loved the big musical type stuff, because, to be honest, my voice works the best for songs like that. Those kind of songs and the big band songs and stuff like that. I wish I had a voice that could do more like alternative songs like Foo Fighters. If I could actually sing like Foo Fighters, I would probably have like 4 or 5 Foo Fighters songs on my channel. So just that kind of genre of like alternative. Even Linkin Park, like I did... obviously, one of my bigger songs was the Sins of the Past, which was Castle of Glass, and that worked out okay, but it's like most of the songs, he can get up there into like really higher tenor stuff, and I can't pull it off. It's like New Divide. I would definitely have done a cover of New Divide by now if I had just another octave on top of my range or something like that, because I do like that song. Blackjack's Lament. From which Lament song would that be? Because I've done a few different laments now. I did Discord's Lament. I've done the Lament of Queen Chrysalis. Oh my gosh. Can you do a cover of my rewrite of September? Oh yeah, no. I mean, you guys can do your own covers and parodies of my songs whenever. That's great. There was one guy early on who did a cover of like 4 or 5 of my rewrites, and that's great. You know, send me a link and I'll probably share it or promote it too, because it's great. I'm always glad if my silly online BS can inspire other people creatively in some way. That's what I want. That gets the job done, because that's what led me into doing this kind of stuff in the first place, is just that, that kind of creativity, that kind of fun. And I definitely, hope that I'm, to inspire that in other people. That's great. That's what I want to do. Yeah, no, chats are great with people. I usually get fun questions. The East Corp chats can get a little bit dank sometimes, so that gets really fun when we get into some of our really hardcore like shit posting segments in the Break Room podcast. Yes, Blackjack from Project Horizons. I'll be honest, I never did read too much further into Project Horizons. I think I read up to chapter 8, but beyond the 99 Problems song, I don't think I know enough about Project Horizons to do anymore. Yeah, so that's a bit tricky. And the other reason too is I don't want to read too much more into Project Horizons in case it kind of spoils some of these last ideas that I have for Confessions. It's a little bit like like Schrodinger's cat. It's like I don't want to open it and be like, Did someone in the community already do a parody of this? Probably, but it's like I don't want to necessarily open it and get like tainted per se. It's similar to like how they have the there's a thing at DHX or whoever formally does the writing where they're not supposed to read fan fiction from the show online, because it's like then if that gets worked into a story somehow, and if someone could prove in court that you used their idea and didn't credit them or pay them or anything, like that can be a nightmare, because the current copyright system is so ridiculously overboard that it's like, you know, this kind of creativity really exists in like a, what's the right word for it? Like a suspended reality or a suspended animation, where it's like it kind of can get away with it in YouTube, but it's like, you know, yeah, obviously I can't take any of these like in any kind of formal context. This is like, I'm like an internet hobo, you know, with a little cup of change on the curb. It's the DWK analogy for any kind of internet stuff like this. But anyway, so I ever tried to write or sing an original Project Horizon song, Just Me by Vocal Score Pony, not based on any MLP. Well, I see. My problem is I'm not much of a composer, to be honest. I have a handful of like fully original songs where I compose the music too, like Striped Mare. That's probably the most completely original quote unquote song I have, and yeah, that's technically what you're asking for. It's a Fallout Equestria song. It's essentially like a sort of James Bond-esque song. The storyline is where it's like this guy, you know, this guy who's tracking down the zebra he thinks he's a spy, who he thinks is a spy, and he meets her in a bar, and it's like the James Bond kind of like flirtatiousness, and then they start shooting at each other, and there you go. That's to be honest probably the closest you'll get, because I do not have that skill. Whenever I have like a composer who I am able to work with in one way or another, like the L Train, then it's great. Then I can really like go places. Like I can write lyrics to original music and new songs and stuff. It's just actually coming up with the original music. That's the hard part. So that is not in my wheelhouse. My wheelhouse is from the writing and lyrics and kind of the singing side of things. So that's really my limitation. I mean, if any of you out there are good at composing and you want someone to do that kind of thing for, you know, hit me up. A good example was one of our musicians from Balefire Symphony from the old days was PSP7 Master, and he just came up with his little guitar like kind of ditty, and he showed it to me, and he's like, you know, this could be something we could use, and that ended up becoming Every Story Will Come to an End, the theme song for Confessions, where I was like, yeah, it was good, and I took his lyrics and transformed them a little bit and sung it, and then I added in the violin part in the middle, sort of that bridge, and then did, you know, the mixing and mastering, and it worked out great. We were able to fit it to the music just beautifully. But yeah, so that's the only problem. I always thought if I had like a twin or a sister or something that could just compose, like, you know, if you're lucky enough to have that kind of dynamic creative duo, hold on to it, because it's something so invaluable. And in a way, I guess I sort of have that with like James and others at East Corp right now, where we can like bounce ideas and stuff off of each other, or like James Kelly, whenever he has some piece of music that's great, then I can work with him and we can, you know, take some great stuff off. But yeah, not everyone is good at everything. It's what's sad is that the old phrasing sort of gets lost, but the real phrase is jack of all trades but master of one, which is that you have a sort of feeling of doing everything, that you've sampled everything, you're slightly capable. It's a very like classical Greek approach to life and the universe, but obviously you're only going to be really good at one thing. And part of the journey, the life like learning of sampling everything that's out there is to see what you're good in. I mean, if you were to ask me in high school if I would be a writer and have, you know, almost 200,000 words under my belt, I'd be like, hell no. I do math, and that's what I'm good at. I'm going to be an engineer. I never even considered myself as a writer in any context until like middle of college, and then I really tried to mess around with stories and narrative and prose. So, and lyrics even less so. I didn't even come up with, well, I had the whole parody thing in whatchamacallit, in being a fan of Weird Al, and then I rewrote this song to Ask a Girl to Prom, which is on my channel, and it's in the end of the recent album, the JSB song, Junior Senior Banquet, which is just prom. And that worked out well. I was able to like do my own little guitar cover of Don't You Forget About Me and Ask the Girl to Prom, and we dated a little bit. So, but besides that, I wouldn't have thought of myself as a writer in any sense. But honestly, I think of myself more as a writer than as a musician because I can't compose music, and because, you know, I have only average singing abilities. It's not like it's not like I have a 5-octave range and can sing all these different stuff. Anyway, and now James Vermont has entered the chat. Who invited you? Yes, I'm trying live streaming on this channel to get away from you people. Yeah, I think part of it too is this channel probably isn't used to it, so we're getting about the same poll, like 10, 11 watchers, which is great. Love all you guys, but we don't have what's the right word? The harvested, the tilled audience that we've been working on for the past year on East Corp's channel, so it's a little bit different. You should do another live stream later this year, SkyBolt. This is fun. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Yes, I do some solo casts on the East Corp channel too when all of them are asleep and no one can stop me. But yeah, no, maybe I will make this a semi-regular thing. I won't. I will not flood the channel with it, though. Please don't unsubscribe for that. I will make sure there's at least a song or two between every time I do one of these live streams. Which is kind of good, because that'll then kind of give myself another incentive to keep writing parodies and keep filling content. The other channel is our East Corp Productions channel, where I do all the Fallout Equestria stuff. You can see... get the link to that on the Goodbye Stable Tech, Hello East Corp video, or I've been dropping links every couple of videos. There's the Scar song. There's a link in there for, you know, the Confessions of Wasteland Pony the Ranger and all those songs. So that's worth doing. Just get Needle, the SkyBolt stream will be taken over. Yeah, she tries. She gets to run her own shows too, so it's totally fine. And so does James. We all get our solo moments. It's refreshing for each of us to get away from the others and you know, shit talk them a little bit. And then we're all forced to come together in the actual podcasts. The sad part, though, is it's too rare, but I love it whenever we find a time to happen, where it's just the four horse ponies of the apocalypse, which is when we have the four main East Corp horse people together, and those are few and far between, unfortunately, where it's James and Needle and myself. The holiday live stream from just 2 months ago, that was a great live stream of all those, and then we had one just after New Year's, I think. And then you go back to some of our really old, like, Stable Tech stuff, which we might have to post on the channel again, because I think a lot of them are gone now. They might still be on the Stable Tech channel. I think the second, third, and fourth is the three of us at the very least. Me, James, and Kelly. And then the fourth one also has some other people, and the fourth one is what essentially like broke the camel's back and killed James Vermont and I's spirits of Stabletech, and so then we like, you know, ball gagged Kelly and took him with us. Oh gosh. Fallout Equestria's 5th year anniversary on FimFiction is this July. Is it? It's more than 5 years. Because the original Fallout Equestria was written between May of 2011 and December of 2011. I thought December is when she wrapped the story because the story itself, like Discord gets mentioned in like chapter, I want to say 40 or something, and it's because she wrote it essentially just during the end of season 1 and the summer, the emptiness, which is when Bronydom exploded online because the horse people didn't have a vector for their outlet anymore, so they started, you know, spreading across the internet like a cancer. And then the cancer reached memebase.com, and I discovered it, so then I became a filthy horse person. Oh, gosh. So, yeah, no, I think Fallout Equestria just had its 7th year anniversary in December. If you go by the time it ended, which I would. What mattered for me was in the end of 2012 and beginning of 2013 is when, what's his name? I've dropped his name so many times now. Craze Rambling. When Craze Rambling finally finished his, like, simple audiobook reading of Fallout Equestria, then I had a way to actually go through it, because I just straight up, my life cannot accommodate like normal reading anymore. It's just like, I could if I really set my mind to it, but I really don't want to. It's like I do enough like reading kind of stuff at work, and you know, in life I like consuming fiction, but it's like when I'm home, it's like I try as much as I can to pour my energy into creation or my own writing or my own music or whatever, or art or drawing. And whenever I'm doing something where my ears aren't occupied, I like listening to audiobooks and consuming fiction and narrative and podcasts and all that. I mean, it's the future, but at the same time, it's the past. You know, people have been doing this ever since the turn of the last century, you know, early 20s, when radio became a thing and radio plays became a thing. And, you know, you had all those old stories. Anyway, so, yeah, so when he finished the audiobook, then I was able to actually go through all of Fallout Equestria, and bada bing, bada boom. Then I did the Facing the Fallout song, and the rest is history. 4 bronies of the apocalypse. No, please, if anyone ever wanted to do an art opportunity, we actually did decide at one point what each of our characters were. I think mine was the horse of death. You know, I guess it'd be a pale horse, but you can put like a you can put like a Grim Reaper robe on me too if you want. I think I'm not sure if Vermont's still in the chat. I think he called dibs on the horse of war. And then I think James Kelly was the horse of pestilence. And then Needle was the horse of famine. So you could draw her like Stitch character, but like extra skinny, like, and stuff. And you can draw James Kelly, but looking sick, which would be really funny, actually. And then you can draw James Vermont's zebra, but like, I don't know, with like tribal war paint or something. And then put all of us on like an end of the world looking like Wasteland, like the end of season 5 when it was Twilight and Starlight. Oh god, that will happen at some point. It's too perfect, and we've made too many apocalypse things from it. I've become a furry after meeting some furry friends. Yeah, great. Absolutely. I think ultimately that's the greatest thing about the internet, is that all these people can connect by their interests, their mutual like interests, rather than like, it's weird, and it's something that I think is hard for older generations to understand, but being able to connect with people based on your specific likes and interests online is its own like kind of newer, higher tier of like social community, you know? I mean, you know, most of these people who are bronies, I mean, think of how many bronies actually live near you. You know, I mean, the few that I've met and know are like so disparate. And outside of things like conventions, you never get a chance to like really hang out in real life. So yeah, I mean, if you like something and you find a group who likes it too, go for it. You know, hang out. And I think it is definitely really good if you have opportunities to meet in real life. Do it, because it's obviously, you know, it's worth it. You get such, you know, a rush of like community and emotion from meeting, you know, your online friends or just other people that like the things you like in real life. It is like a certain sense of belonging that, like, obviously that's why real life meeting is better, but the internet provides a different vector for people that maybe, you know, they just don't share the interests of those around them, you know? Like if I almost was from Alabama, which this is not a thing on Alabama at all, but it's like I was almost from the South because my parents almost moved there in the 80s. And, you know, maybe like if you're surrounded by a set of certain interests, like I don't know, this is totally stereotypical and horrible now. It's like NASCAR or whatever. I'm not a fan of NASCAR. So if everyone at my college or high school were only into NASCAR, that would be horrible and boring to me. And it's like I'd go to one or two races, but if no one... Anyway, point is, if you're not around people that like the same things you like, it can be lonely. It can be like, you know, you feel that social outcast and it's nice finding community with people online who share the interests of things you like. So I liked MLP before it was cool, lol. Yeah, I don't know, I guess I'd consider myself like a second wave brony. I consider all like the original bronies are the members of the 4chan comics board. Honestly, they're the ones that like tore apart that one guy's review of My Little Pony where he was just so mean to Lauren. And these were like people that like, of course, they're like 90s childs that like, you know, they like Lauren Faust from the Foster's Home and from Powerpuff and Craig McCracken and everything. So they're like, wait, why is this guy such an asshole? You know, why is he tearing apart the show? And they gave it a try. Because, you know, probably a lot of them, like me, have siblings that grew up in the 80s. So they have some of that secondhand 80s nostalgia, too. And they're like, you know, there's ponies. And they checked out the show, and then suddenly they're like, oh no, we really like this. And then their, like, unironic love of it was starting to, like, really rubbed the rest of 4chan the wrong way, and so they got expunged for like a year or two, and then they brought them back on the MLP board years later. But anyway, so I consider them like Generation 1 bronies. They're the ones, the two cool hipsters that like their devotion to the show was so hip that they got like expunged from the website and they had to create Equestria Daily and everything. Then I consider myself in the second wave, which was essentially when season 1 ended and all those original bronies had nothing else to do. They're like the mini fandom started like spreading, and then when it spread to other websites and stuff, that first wave between season 1 and 2, that's, you know, that was the that was the expansion, so to speak. Oh my gosh. Back to the chat. Oh, Gen 1 fan. That's something completely different. Yeah, no, if you actually grew up with Gen 1 or liked Gen 1 or whatever before any of these happened, yeah, then that's a whole different original fan. Yeah, that's right. Craze Rambling did start Project Horizons, but he went off. Yeah, I think he ended up getting like a real, quote unquote, real narration job. So that's great. I mean, again, if you can like have a hobby at something and have fun doing it and also get paid sometimes, that's even better. It's like, you know, I never set out on any of this stuff to get any money at all, but enough people have like, you know, donated to songs on Bandcamp or you know, just watching the videos and getting ad revenue. It's been nice just getting a few dollars off of my silly pony songs. Yeah, Craze Rambling. Oh, I guess he stopped at 21. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the reason is because he got like other narration jobs. So it's like, it's hard to argue with that. Like, and then you know, he'd have to go from chapter 21 all the way through like chapter 75 or whatever Project Horizons ultimately had. So I somewhat don't blame him for stopping. So I don't know. Let me see here. Whoa, now it looks like more chats like popped up. I don't know how these chats work. Like, I have the live chat on, which should be everything. I don't need any content filters. I've been on enough websites where I'm not going to get offended by anything. Favorite YouTubers who do gaming stuff and then start reviewing the show. Oh yeah, Bronydom. I mean, keep spreading far. I mean, at the very least, we're like at some sort of like plateau. Like, we're not losing bronies. I don't think the fandom has ever shrunk at all. It's like, if anything, we hit like a peak point at like season 5, and we're like condensing, but it's the same size. I can draw you some mechanical wings for reference if you want. Yeah, go for it. I mean, like I said, I have that the wings from the General Zoids that still get put into fan art and stuff. But half the time, if people ask me about art, I'm like, just draw him as a unicorn. He's just a regular unicorn. Nothing crazy, or like, you know, Princess Dark Rainbows, who's like the secret sister of Luna and Celestia. It's none of that crap. I still get hate from that. And if I had known how bad of a meme that would become down the road, I wouldn't have done the mechanical wings thing. But, you know, hindsight's 2020. I'd love to see a 4 Horses of the Apocalypse as villains. Yeah. That would be great, wouldn't it? I don't know if they can ever top the season 5 finale. That was such an incredible finale. Season 6 was fun. I liked the sort of like the oddballs adventure where Starlight Glimmer was suddenly like, she had to actually be Twilight now and like gather her friends and go save the day. But season 5 was like, I don't know, that was really, really good. I don't know if they can top that again. Season 3 could have been a good finale if it were 2-parter, so they were able to space all of that story and stuff across a full-length season instead of just being a little mini half season like season 3 ended up being. And also, if they had done like season 5, where they had dropped more hints throughout the season about what was coming. Because they did that really well in the first season, where it's like, okay, everything's working up to the gala. So Rarity's making dresses for the gala, and they're fighting over the golden tickets for the gala. And it's like, you know, that matters. That loose continuity is what really, like, it keeps those shows together, and that kind of stuff matters for any kind of TV. You can't just do Monster of the Week. You have to have some kind of overall story, or people aren't going to connect to the characters if there's no real progression. That's one of the many things that went wrong with The Simpsons, is it ran so long and the characters never aged, so then suddenly they're rewriting the backstory for, like, what decade was Bart a child? What decade were they kids? And the backstory behind them, and it's like, it just doesn't work. You have to evolve the characters like naturally with the people who are watching. And in a lot of ways, that's what Pony has done right. Being 7 years old, they have progressed Twilight and Friends, and they've moved them into these other stages and stuff. I mean, think of the last 2 seasons. Rarity has grown her business. She bought her space in Canterlot, and then she set up, Goofy, what's her name? The blue chick, to run things there. And then she set up her Manhattan store, and she's got Coco. It's like, she's growing her business. She's like franchising. It's great. And Applejack's farm, and, family, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, there's progression, and that matters for people. You want to see them, like, come through in life. It's sort of like sitcom 101, which is, what a lot of those, like, slice of life kind of things are, is just a sitcom where it's like, you want to see them grow over time. It's like that 70s show where it's like, okay, yeah, Eric finally gets with Donna, and then their relationship goes through a breakup, and then they get back together, and then they might get married, And then they break up the wedding, which was when that show died, is when then Eric stood her up at the wedding. And that was the show's ultimate problem, was like, yes, Eric leaving was bad, but they really shouldn't have had him leave her at the altar. That was bad. Anyway, totally unrelated there. SkyBolt, do you have a favorite Fallout Equestria character? Of the original, it's definitely going to be Steel Hooves, because of the Applejack connection, and I feel like that whole like kind of old and new arc, or like the connection between Steel Hooves and Applejack, that really like solidified the story together of like the pre-war and post-war. And I think without that whole character and like dynamic, I really don't think the story would have the staying power that it ended up having. Closest brony to me is Lightning Bliss, and she's good friends with DeWilstonator. Yeah, no. DeWilstonator's great. I haven't had a chance to meet him at a con yet or anything, but he was a fantastic Sombra. So yeah, he's been a big part of the SkyBolt the SkyBolt expanded universe. Only been to Nightmare Nights in Dallas. Yeah, Dallas had a few. There's a lot of good conventions in Texas now, because Texas has a really big anime culture because of Funimation, I think, having their base of operations in Dallas. So it's great for a lot of the central country that you don't want to make a flight all the way to California or Washington, or all the way to like New York or Florida, or what is the Dragon Con in Georgia, I think. Didn't join the fandom until the Canterlot wedding. Yeah, absolutely. Everyone has a different origin story, as it were. Joined the fandom after season 3. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Joined the fandom a month before season 5, season 4 finale. Oh, yeah. That was the Dragon Ball Z finale with T-Rex, when the old treehouse gets riggedy wrecked. And season 5, they introduced the map and everything. Yeah, so that's good times. Steel Hooves is my favorite too. Yeah. No, I know about the story of them's fighting herds, and Pepperidge Farm remembers when that was still just going to be the pony fighting game, and what is their musician? The RC88 started releasing those initial like pony fight themes, and those were great and stuff, and they were really coming along. And then they got a little bit too popular and noteworthy when the great C&D hammer came crashing down. And obviously, though, they had already reached a point where they were big enough that then Lauren Faust herself was like, I feel bad for you guys. And I mean, this is after she had kind of gotten like kicked from the show, which is very unfortunate how that happened. But it's like she was already gone and kind of had like the bad blood. But then she saw what happened to those guys, and she's like, I'll come in and I'll help. And she retooled all their characters and had their sheet and their other farm animals. And there you go. Now you got Them's Fighting Herds, which has a very great Lauren Faust animation aesthetic. Exactly what everyone wanted in the first place. Texas is huge anime-wise. I live near San Antonio. Yeah, that's great. I haven't been to Texas proper. I've connected through Dallas enough times to know that I'd probably hate it. That's no offense to Texas at all. What that is a reflection of my intolerance for humidity. Even living in Virginia, as soon as it hits like 70% humidity, I am uncomfortable. Like, I want to go sit in a car and crank on the AC until my relative humidity drops back below 50. So that's coming from California, which is like, famously dry as a bone for the most part. Except for Northern California. We're like, that's the weird part too, is Northern California is the most like non-humid part of the state. The most humid part of the state, because we're in the top of the Central Valley, where we still get a lot of like wet winds down from Kenyatta and everything. But anyway, all that aside, yeah, Texas is great. And what I love about the Texas anime community too is I was listening through the Attack on Titan English dub Blu-rays. I was just going through all the behind the scenes like commentary, and it's the the voice actors for the characters, for Eren and Mikasa and Armin and all of them. And, of course, it's all the voice actors that are mostly, like, Dallas locals, in the same way that most of the Pony voice actors are, like, Vancouver locals. And it's just great hearing them talk about, like, oh, yeah, when I first came to Texas and working to Funimation and blah, blah, blah. And it's just really fun stories about that section of the industry. So that's been fun. SoCal over here. Yeah, SoCal's great. I've been there so many times. Careville in the SA area. I'm guessing that means San Antonio. Yeah. What saddens me is never got to see Mage Meadowbrook's 8 magical enchanted items as mentioned by Communist Glimmer. Yes. Yeah, I don't know. That sounds like something they really could like bring back into the story at some point. I know they finally had what's his name? The old magic magician. The old what is it? The wizard guy that the Twilight always acolytes over. And I haven't seen the episode yet, clearly. Anyway, they finally brought him into the show. It's like, they really could cover that mage's items at some point. I mean, I can't believe I forgot his name. Damn it. Beard magician guy. I mean, his whole, like, magical time spell was the whole crux of the season 5 finale. 5 finale, and also it was the crux of Twilight's transformation into an alicorn when she fucking died at the end of season 3. Star Swirl the Bearded. Oh my god. I cannot believe I forgot that. Obviously, I'm not in tune with the show right now. I'm very far out of sync. You know what I have to do now that we're finally getting into convention season? I have a lot of my pony stuff sort of like in like containment, essentially, where it's like, for like normal people in the house, I just have a dark box that I keep all that stuff in and put them in my closet, so to speak. But now that's convention season, I need to like decorate the house again and have that out for a couple months until after Everfree. Need more Fallout. Yes, we do need more Fallout. I want another New Vegas, damn it. I want my continuation of Obsidian Fallout sphere. Because New Vegas is so great, and Fallout was born on the West Coast. All the original, Black Isle Interplay games were all on the West Coast. So this is where Fallout belongs. We've been hearing that pony's names in Season 2's Luna Eclipsed. I know. Star Swirl the Bearded has been around forever. I don't know why I couldn't remember. It's like I had the face. It's just sitting there, and it would not come to me. Yeah. That's one of the reasons I feel like I'm good at coming up with lyrics, is because I have a very poor memory when it comes to song lyrics. So I usually end up kind of like creating something on the fly when I'm like singing a tune. It's like I remember the tune, but the actual lyrics I don't. And so then just natural rhyming, and I've mentioned on podcasts or something where I've done like poetry contests and stuff before too. So I have some concept of rhyming, like on the East Corp channel, there's the Come to Me thing I did last year for Valentine's Day, which was essentially I wanted to take a crack at doing the rhyming scheme for The Raven, which is the classic super famous Edgar Allan Poe poem, and so I did sort of my own version of The Raven, which is Fallout Equestria style. And that was fun, getting to like really get into the meat of like hard poetry. And you run out of words that rhyme so quickly. Like it was a 2-week long process just going through the writing, because it is a lot of words, and you want to like have enough originality in each phrase where it's like there's a 3-arc structure to it. and you're not using the same word over and over again. Like, I had that same problem in Moonrise, where it's like I was running out of things to rhyme with night. I used night and light and midnight and blight and polite and everything, and I think I use up every single one of the words that appear on Rhymer and Rhyme Zone. There's 3 sites. Whenever I am writing a song, I instantly open and I'm just working off of them with my song Word document on my second screen, which is thesaurus.com, rhymezone.com, and rhymer.com. And the difference between the latter two is that Rhyme Zone is the more stringent one, which is essentially it's got to be a perfect rhyme, like very proper, fully functioning, like perfect, what do they call it? Like suffix rhyme, like in terms of the vowel sound and the consonants. Whereas Rhymer is much kind of, not much looser, but it is a bit looser. So, for instance, if you're using Rhymer and you just have a song that ends in ing, like coloring, like, oh, I'm coloring the sky with your love or whatever, it will rhyme you every song that ends in every song, every word that ends in ing for the most part. You know, it'll give you the 2-syllable words, the 1-syllable. So in the 1-syllable, it'll be, you know, bring and fling and sing. And then 2-syllable, you'll get your, or what is it? 3-syllable, you get your coloring and morning and whatever. Anyway, so yeah, that's Rhymer. Whereas Rhyme Zone would be much more stringent of, well, hell, let's just see what it says right here. Coloring. Okay, so immediately it's not satisfied and it says there are no perfect rhymes for coloring. So what does it give me instead? It gives me covering, suffering, the learning for some reason, discovering, recovering. And so, of course, it's like, these aren't perfect rhymes, but I guess since I have to give you something, then it gives you something. So it's like, I'll start with Rhyme Zone, and if I want, like, a few more options that would make sense within the, like, the writing context, the lyrical narrative context, then I expand into Rhymer and see, you know, kind of work between the two and see what I get. And, I don't know, that seems to work. I really haven't put together like a discography yet, but I really kind of want to, because I want to see how many like stuff I've been a part of in different contexts, like kind of like a Wikipedia article for myself, which is very self-flagellating, I know, but it's like, it's kind of like I don't know, I'm just curious, because I've been doing this for so damn long and I've rewritten so many damn songs, because again, it's like my own channel isn't even like, I think honestly my own channel is only half of my total works on the internet. It's like, especially if you include the L Train stuff, that's what, 20 original songs that I did the lyrics for, and then there's all the like little stuff where it was like a collab but it went on the other person's channel, like the You'll Play Your Part where I just did the singing, or the what was the Forever Free one? The Ponies with Pies, where I did, you know, obviously like a quarter of the singing, and I also did the writing and like a third of the lyrics. So, yeah, you know, it's interesting. I just like, because everything is so spread out, I really want to sit down and like just academically collect like that information, because I'm also a data junkie. It's like I have like Excel spreadsheets for anything I can create an Excel spreadsheet out of, where I measure metrics for different things, and not just like sometimes it's like the boring adult stuff like, oh, budget and taxes and stuff like that, but it's fun stuff too, stuff that I care about. Let's see here. I want a, let me go back to the chat real quick. Oh god, there's more people in the chat. And we're losing viewers, so I'm getting boring. It's almost 2 hours, damn. Yes, more New Vegas. Playing New Vegas as you speak, yes. Yeah, I gotta pick up my most recent New Vegas playthrough again. I've done all the main stories, for the most part. I gotta get back into the DLC again. Especially because DLC writing is where I get a lot of confessions ideas. Do I read fan comics? I try to. I don't read like the big comic series, again, just because I if I discover like a specific artist or whatever, then I'll try to keep checking back on it whenever I can. But I'm a little bit out of the loop on most of them. Mainly because I really just don't have like a regular, like a Tumblr or a DeviantArt account where like, you know, they keep popping up in regular rotation for me. Like all my common social network mediums are like Twitter and Facebook, really mainly Facebook. So it's like, if I see them pop up enough, I'll definitely, you know, subscribe or follow or whatever. And, you know, in terms of like a proper series, I'm a little bit, not as connected. I love all the anime references MLP fans have done. Yeah, no, I mean, it's really, you know, it's all within that same sort of, you know, the Venn diagrams of interests of, like, nerd internet culture, and anime and MLP probably have one of the largest overlaps, for sure. Yeah, all the Sailor Moon references. That was one of my early animes, too. It's, yeah. Sailor Moon, when you're a growing boy in the 90s, in the late 90s, it's, you know, it's an interesting show for reasons that you don't fully understand until you become a few years older. I want a one-shot, 1 hour special of Anime World Equestria for 200. Yeah, that would be great. I thought, I thought the Fangasm episode 100 was a little bit, it didn't do it for me. I really there was something like off-putting about seeing like the fan stuff like canonized in the show in that way. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but it didn't do it for me. But like just an episode 200 where it's like a play out parody like that, where like everything is anime just for whatever reason, that'd be kind of fun. It's like the Power Ponies episode where they were all the Power Rangers, but a little bit zanier. That would be fun. Second link to Facebook group. Facebook is more interactive in my... Yeah, I think Facebook has more staying power. Like, obviously, both Facebook or Twitter provide different, like, sort of different functions of online communication. Like, Facebook is much more, like, homepagey. It's like the old internet where everyone had their internet, like, home site. And you could, like, get all the information and all of the stuff off of people, and you still have the main news feed, but you can go on their profile and go through all their pictures or all their picture folders or all their video folders and events and things like that. Whereas Twitter is much more about like active conversation and threads. So it's more stripped down, but it's like the psychology behind it is different, I guess. I had an idea for the Blue Moon airship, listening to the song part 109. Yeah, no, the Blue Moon is fun. I know the actual airship like used in the art for those is a I don't know if it's a pony airship. I pulled it just from a vector somewhere, and then I like recolored it and did some stuff to it. But if I were just designing the airship from scratch, I'd probably start with something that looked more like the Pridwin and go from there. I really love the look of the Pridwin. That is a gorgeous looking airship. I just like, whoever the like concept artist was in Bethesda that drew that up, that was like, I love the look of it. That's a neat looking airship. You'll Play Your Part is still my favorite song from the show. Yeah. And then Welcome to the Show from Rainbow Rocks. Yeah. And I think it's hard to argue that Rainbow Rocks is still the best of the movies, but I haven't seen all the little shorts yet either, so I should probably hold my tongue on that. Twicane, yeah, the Twilight Scepter. that was a fun short-lived meme. I used that a little bit in the early days. There's an upcoming 2019 Lion King movie? Is that going to be like live action, like they've been doing with Beauty and the Beast and everything? And also, how do they not have Be Prepared? That, like, I don't like the idea, assuming it is a live action Lion King movie, but I don't know. I don't think that would do well. Well, no, it would do well, but I don't think I would like the look of that, like a live action Lion King movie. I'm immediately thinking of like dinosaurs and things, movies like that, and it's just, I don't know. I don't know. Like, live action looking animal movies have, you kind of lose some of that, like, animation is good for that reason. You don't want it to be too realistic. It's the same reason I really don't like the fact that, like, Pixar-style 3D has now taken over, like, classical Disney animation, because I feel like we're all missing something now. Like, you know, like, I still look back sometimes at Princess and the Frog, which is the most recent, like, Disney super 2D looking movie, and I'm like, do you really want to give this up forever? Now that, like, Tangled and Frozen, everything's just going to be the same Pixar 3D? It's boring as hell. It's like, I feel like they're doing now what happened in the early 2000s with CGI in general. It's the George Lucas problem, where everything was CG, everything was green screen, and so people kind of lost their connection to it. Like, you know, that kind of Pixar-style 3D works in certain ways. Obviously, it's easier to animate in some context, but at the same time, they keep pushing the technology with, like, hair animation and stuff, where they're like, it's still hard, but it's like, you know, that was one of the things I loved about the Pony movie, is it was still sort of classical 3D looking animation. I think that's one of the reasons things like anime are still so popular with people. Like, you look at things like, I'm going to show my very limited anime knowledge here, but you look at things like Attack on Titan, or what I've been loving too is on Netflix, the Castlevania series. That's been incredible. And I don't think that's even anime, technically, because I think it's the American studio or Canadian Frederator or something that does the animation for that. And it's like Disney, you are the forerunners of all of this. You know, you go back to Snow White and Beauty and the Beast and Pinocchio and Fantasia, and you're just gonna, like, throw that away? What the hell is wrong with you? I feel like, isn't there a new CEO, the guy that took over after Bob Iger or whatever? It's like, what the hell are you doing, man? You're screwing it up. I don't know. So I hope they kind of wake up at some point and go back to that. I know Don Bluth, he's still alive, and, you know, he's a famous Disney Disney. I don't know if outcast is the right word. I want to say separatist. He was the first Disney separatist that then went on and created some beloved things like American Tail and Land Before Time and stuff. He's going back, and they're making a movie based on his Dragon's Lair arcade game, which I think will be great. And then there was the second Disney, separatist, which was Katzenberg, and some of the animators that worked with him, who separated and went and formed DreamWorks with Steven Spielberg. And you think about some of the movies they did in the 2D, like El Dorado and Prince of Egypt, and those are gorgeous. Why? Why does everything have to be the damn Pixar 3D now? That works for Pixar movies where they have a sense of applying it stylistically, but it's like just doing that for everything sucks. Anyway, end rant. Yes, I have seen the 2017 Pony movie. I love that. Hated how the CG of Beauty and the Beast looked. Yeah, Beauty and the Beast and Lion King are some of, like, the hallmarks of 90s Disney. They're like solid pillars of Disney, like, animation and music especially. And it's like, I honestly, I didn't see the Beauty and the Beast remake. I really haven't seen any of the live action Disney movies because, I don't know, maybe in principle, to be honest, I don't want to give them my money. The last kind of thing like that I saw was their, was it just, The Great and Powerful Oz? That was it, where it was, excuse me, where it was James Franco playing the wizard. And I'll admit, I think that was handled well by the guys or whoever were doing that production, because I really liked at the opening when everything was sepia tone, but it was also the old-fashioned, like, standard definition, like, square aspect ratio. And then when they actually go to Oz, then it opens up into the movie widescreen after, like, 20 minutes. I thought that was really clever and a nice homage to the original Beauty and the Beast, or original Wizard of Oz. anything by Studio Ghibli. Yeah, there you go. I mean, most anime is like super high quality like that in the 2D realm. And anime also have a good understanding about applying 3D in just the right ways, which is what you want. It's just the right ways, but not just, you know, so much. Lol, Pillars of Disney. yeah, I know. That's there's so many asterisks to what you could call Disney these days, and you know what Disney is and what it's become, and all this other stuff. It's several more videos just on their own. Don't worry, I always leave the streams up so you can go back and rewatch the stream whenever you want. That is totally fine. The only great way to make remake Disney is the 101 Dalmatians with Glenn Close. Oh yeah, that was like 90s or early 2000s. That wasn't bad. I did grow up with the original 101 Dalmatians and stuff. That was fun. Akira is a good anime. Yeah, I mean, Akira is like the anime, to be honest. That's like Akira. Akira was like Pearl Harbor. That was like when anime came crashing so hard into America that everyone noticed. I mean, even with the crappy original dub, that was... Well, the reason was even within Japanese, like, Japanese anime culture of the 80s, before it was ever a thing in the US, Akira was, you know, it was a big manga for sure, that also got all this bankrolling. So the animation and the money and the budget that went into Akira is, I think, probably unparalleled outside of things like Studio Ghibli, because they poured so much money into like very detailed frame by frame animation, and I think different from I know a lot of stuff about it was different from anime that was going on at the time, and so it was just like, it had that next level, and it really was like lightning in a bottle. It combined the story of that like super cyberpunk like look and style that, you know, was kind of, you know, it was kind of an underground subculture thing from the original Blade Runner. They have to admit that. They got a lot of ideas from Blade Runner. Anyway, but of course they took it, you know, all the bright 80s, like 80s and 90s cyberpunk colors and like that sort of dark neo-futurism. That look, it's such a cool look, you know. This coming from a guy who, I'm a Blade Runner junkie, and I've seen all the Ghost in the Shell stuff, except like the new like kind of remake stuff. And it's Akira was its own thing. And you just like, I just got the Akira like platinum whatever 25th anniversary Blu-ray, and just the detail of like the action and the fighting scenes and the pacing too. The pacing and like the plot development is perfect. I mean, you don't need to know anything. You don't need to really even be a fan of anime or anything. You just sit down and you watch it like any other cartoon movie. But as an adult, it's like it just had that. It did so many things right that it literally brought an entire genre to America. And then from there, you know, then the doors were down, and the Dragon Ball Zs and the Sailor Moons and all these other things started just crashing on the shoreline. I was reading in a World War II World War II memes Facebook group where it's like America won World War II, but Japan won the culture wars or something like that. Oh my gosh. So anyway, it's a nice symbiosis, I think, because a lot of anime has Western influence and stuff, and a lot of Western like animation is taking derivatives from Japanese anime and like you know, Japanese cultural ideas like, you know, Shintos and demons and all that good stuff. So it's fun. It's the great synchronicity, the uncomfortable new love between America and Japan. So anyway, what is up, SkyBolt? Yes, what is up, chat? How are you guys doing? Oh god, we're back to 10 viewers too. Must have hit the second wave of everyone that is checking back in. Oh my god, it's been 2 hours and 15 minutes. See, I told you, I can go on and on. I really have a pretty good, I get this from my mom, the monologuing. I mean, my You think I can talk a lot. You haven't spent any time with my mother, where she was like a Kendi, where she could talk not only fast, but then for a long, long time. That was essentially her job. She did contracting negotiations, and I honestly think she won most of those negotiations by just war of attrition. Crap, I better go back to the chat. After my Akira monologue. Who is your favorite MOP movie character? Oh, Tempest, by far. Tempest Shadow is Bae. She's like my top 3 ponies now, in general. I mean, what are you even talking about? I guess most of that's came through in the East Corp productions. But yeah, no, I love Tempest Shadow. She's Bae. What do you think of Discord, the application? Oh yeah, Discord, the application. I remember when it was first like rolling out, and I have a tendency of getting set in my ways. So when Discord, the application, rolled out, I really like ignored it for a long time because I was like, I'm used to Skype. I'm gonna use Skype. I don't like things that are different. And just went with Skype I'm still on Skype mainly. So, but Discord is better than Skype in a lot of ways. It has a lot more flexibility and pliability, and I can see why it really took off amongst like the gamer, the like Twitch culture and things like that. It's got a lot of like the way Discord servers work over just like Skype groups and whatnot is very innovative, and I see why it's sort of displacing Skype. I'm just one of those people where it just takes me a while to like get used to things enough where I will use them more. And I think back to like the MySpace days and stuff. I had MySpace page so long, and I'm like, I really just gotta close this. No, none of my friends are here anymore. So it'll probably be the same with Discord, where I do have a Discord and everything from like 2 years ago, or when we first started like really using it in Stable Tech, and then now for East Corp. But I'm sorry, I'm very inattentive to it, so I do apologize for our East Corp patrons that I don't hang out in there more. Akira is hard to watch, but respectable. Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I'm not saying obviously like there's so much, that's the other thing. It's obviously from an American perspective, there are so many different genres and fields of anime. And of course, my exposure to anime is only within a very certain select sphere of things. And so there's whole sections of anime and like stuff that I have no idea of. Like the first filter for me is if there isn't a professional English dub, I probably haven't seen it. So I'm one of those people, I cannot stand subtitles. I will watch anime with subtitles like Devilman and Crybaby or whatever, but I really prefer not to if I can help it. I'll wait for the English dub. Unless it's something I really like now Attack on Titan. I watched season 2 with the subs because that's the only thing that was available. And then as the dub starts rolling out, or whenever they release it on Blu-ray, then of course I'm going to snatch that up. Can I say one thing though? Attack on Titan season 2 should have been the length of season 1, quote unquote, or it's like they should have released then the part 2 right away. It's like, don't call it season 2 if, quote unquote, season 1 was double the length. Then call it season 3 and make it so that, like, because that's really what it functionally is a season 3. Season 1 was the arc between the beginning of Attack on Titan and then the end of the Colossus Titan arc. Where they're, fully joined up in the scouts and everything. And then season 2, the arc was around the female Titan and all that nonsense. So then season 3 was the arc around them going out back into, the Middle Zone and the Beast Titan and all that good stuff. So that's really functionally how it's going to be, is it's going to be the season 3, but whatever. They're calling it season 2. What started that in America? I know different countries have different, like English television. English television is weird where, like, everything is sort of in this, big but short context. Like Like, you think of, like, The Office, where it's, like, all these little seasons of, like, 6 episodes. Or Sherlock, which is, at least it's very, like, regular, where it's like, okay, you're gonna get a season, but essentially a season is just 3 hour-and-a-half-long movies. So, it's interesting. And then, yeah, Breaking Bad split up its season in half, which is dumb, and that was, in American television, that started because of the damn Sopranos, which split up their seasons all over the place around, like, season 3 or 4. Let me look at chat again. You're going to stop the stream like... Yeah, I know. I was going to stop the stream 45 minutes ago. We keep outpacing ourselves in length. It was just like with Confessions. I was like, man, this engineer is ridiculous. I'll never make anything this long. And I actually believed that too when when I wrote The Ranger, and it ended up being just, 2 hours 45 rather than 3:45. But then, once I got going into the Ice Mare story, I'm like, well, crap. It looks like it's going to be even longer. So, yeah, no promises. First anime I saw was during the 80s was Voltron Force. Oh, yeah, I forget things like Voltron and Power Rangers, which are, like, semi-Japanese properties that sort of get, like, transformed into, like, a weird mutant thing in the States. Yeah, Ghost in the Shell Inner Universe. Yeah, that's the classic stuff. All the original songs and things. I always loved the second gig opening. What song is that? I think that's Rise by Ariga. That's really good. She's in like the long trench coat and everything, and there's like the tanks, and the whole season 2 second gig arc was really fun. Tempest looks badass. Yes, she is. She's badass bae. Finish Breaking Bad. Yes, no, I saw Breaking Bad in, I think, the best way, which was like I had no idea what it was about. Well, I mean, I knew of it when it was starting to like hit the internet, but I wasn't connected to it at all. And then right before the last season, I was like, a lot of people like this show. It all came to Netflix. So I watched like all of it over the course of a summer up until that very last season or half season of like 10 episodes. And then I saw each of those last episodes as they aired. So I'm kind of glad I watched it that way. That was a really fun way of like shotgunning through it all, and then, the end, like having that hype for the ending, and, going through all those really quality final episodes like Ozymandias and stuff. And the bots Discord has are very useful and handy. Yeah, Discord has just more functions and applications than Skype does. I hate subs. Yeah, I try not to express my bigotry, but it's like, I don't know. There's a certain subgroup of people that will only watch subs and not dubs, and it's like, I can't understand that in like a logical way, but at the same time, I have like a very visceral, like, you weeaboo reaction to it. I'm one of those people too. I first watched Akira with the original dub from the 80s, which is kind of shitty, but I like that. I got used to that. So I really, of course I have the big super pack now, so it has the 2001 like redub, but I can't watch the 2001 redub because it's not for is it Kaneda? For one of those guys, they have the voice of Tai from Digimon, Tai Kamiya, Tai. It's the English voice of Tai from Digimon, and I can't not hear that. So it's like I put on that new dub for, I want to say like 10 or 20 minutes, and I could not get past it. All that was happening while I was watching the movie was picturing Digimon popping out during the story. So I had to just walk away from that. Couldn't do it. Able to read subs and watch. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I can watch things with subtitles, but it's just, for me, I feel like I'm getting robbed because, especially anime, a lot of it is very visual in the storytelling and the, like, the effects and the cool stuff. It's like, I don't want to miss it. It's like, I remember I took one film class in college because it was a GE, a general education requirement, was within that category, you could take film. So it's like, yeah, I'll take film. That's fun. And so we watched, what's the movie? It's the Spanish Civil War one. God, is it Guillermo del Toro? Or I think it is. It's not Legend. Fudge. It's the one with like the fairies and like the little creepy stuff, and you got the Spanish Francisco Franco guys and the little girl like escaping into the fantasy essentially. What the hell is it called? Is it Labyrinth or Pan's Labyrinth? I think it's Pan's Labyrinth. Anyway, so of course the movie's all in Spanish because it's literally Spain, like literally. And so it's like, okay, yeah, I'm reading it in subtitles because of course there's no English dub, or she wasn't showing us the English dub. But what was that section of the film class about? The use of color in movies. What the hell? Okay, so we're watching a movie for the whole purpose of it is to look at the color use of like reds and greens and blues and blah, blah, blah. And like, oh, the little girl has this because this. And it's like, that's great and all, but don't then give us a movie as an example where it's subtitles. Because even if I tried ignoring the subtitles, I'd never watched the movie before, so my eyes keep drifting down. So it's like I'm losing track of like the color symbolism I'm supposed to be paying attention to. Damn it. Anyway, DJ Pyro in the chat has brought up, yes, they approved Infinity Train, finally. So, fantastic. I'm very excited about Infinity Train. I think that's going to be their next big hit for sure, just because of how well that original short did. And it's like, I want there to be more corgis too. I'm sorry, they gotta go back and take the Corgi King with them, or make him like a recurring character, because that's adorable. How do you not fall in love with like the Greco-Roman Corgi Kingdom? That was just so adorable. I want more of that. And and the little 1-1 robot was great too, where you've got half of it is the depressed robot from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and then the other half is like just the opposite. Prefer English dub, but in other areas prefer Japanese. See, the real problem with dubs versus subs happens when they change up a lot of the other audio too. So like the music. If the music is different from one to the other, then of course I can give much more leniency to my opinion on subs versus dubs, because that's BS. It's like, use the normal sound and everything. The only thing that should be different is maybe a slight bit of pacing. So yeah, maybe some sound effects are slightly recut, but it's like, just change the words. That's it. Just so you can understand it without having to read like full sentences at the bottom of the screen. Damn. It's like, this shouldn't be hard. It really isn't hard. The only hard part is writing around the lip flapping, which is what the original Japanese words are in the first place. They do the animation first. I mean, they have the script for what like it's supposed to be, but it's like they do the animation first, and then the VAs come in and overdub for the original dub. That's how most anime is done, if I remember right. And it's like, just do that again, but it's English. It's not that hard. Damn. I don't know why, like, I mean, there's like 2 or 3 major studios, but it's like, this is something like a lot more people should be able to do. I don't know. Prefer Kill la Kill's English dub over Attack on Titan's English dub. Yeah, I remember I've seen part of Kill la Kill, the Japanese version, I think on Netflix. I think what it is Netflix seems to have a lot of anime, but they'll only have one or the other. They'll have the sub or they'll have the dub. And then, of course, they're trying to fund their own animes, like the Neo Yokios and the Castlevanias and stuff. But I found on Hulu, Hulu will give you both versions, which is great. Sometimes they'll be interchanged, so it's like you watch episode 1, the sub, and then episode 1, the dub. Then episode 2 the sub, and then episode 2 the dub. But sometimes they link it together. So it's like if you start the chain on dub, it'll auto-play the next dub episode rather than going back and forth. But anyway, it's all personal preference. I'm just saying, for me personally, in a logical standpoint, if it's purely just the language that you speak natively versus a foreign language forcing you to read text at the bottom of the screen, unless the dub is like really shitty, like an online dub, like why would you not choose the dub? I mean, yeah, maybe the voice of the actor or actress is more pleasing to listen to, like, you know, like the stereotype of like the really cutesy Japanese girl voice. I get that, but at the same time, if the anime has any kind of story to it whatsoever, it's like, did you? I don't know. That's one of the reasons you watch animation is for the animation. So it's like especially for that, I don't want to read. I don't want to read shit. Sometimes Japanese VAs are better than English, and that works if you speak Japanese. That's again my basic point of I'm trying to be as open-minded as I can, but I can't get past the logical contradiction. Anyway, current anime, yeah, and these days too. I mean, there's so much like anime is such a huge industry that most of the dubs are fine. I mean, hell, even some online dubs are great. You know, like I mean, you know, you think of like the abridged series, like Team 4-Star and freaking Little Karibo and all that. That's some funny shit. Like that's almost better than the actual normal shows. The Owl House, made by most of the crew of Gravity Falls. Oh yeah, is that new Disney show? The one where they had the poster of like the girl, and then there was like the witch behind her. Yeah, that's the new what's his name? The main Gravity Falls guy. That looks really good. I mean, at least from the poster, which is from all I can tell from it. But what I'm deriving from what I'm looking at based on his history with Gravity Falls, I think that should be a good time. Super picky when it comes to media nowadays. Yeah, and that's the other thing, which is really great, which is that the modern world has so many media ventures out there that, I mean, you really can just find whatever you like and find something that makes it. I mean, that's really thanks to the long-standingness of things like YouTube and other online content where you've just got completely different creative things that are able to happen. And that's one of the reasons that internet freedom is so very important. It's like everyone needs to be able to have their online venue to create and speak, and you know, just everyone deserves a platform and everyone deserves free speech. It's like the sort of frightening advent in recent years of the opposite of that, which is let's segregate everyone to their own little like insular communities, is horrifying. And everyone should be horrified by that, even if you're on the side of the big communities, because at one point you're not going to be on the side of the big community anymore. Anyway, that's a whole separate issue. I'm not going to go into it more, but it's like you want to maximize free speech and free expression as much as possible, because that's better. You don't want a world where people are getting stifled, because then it's just bad things happen. Don't do that. Actually getting tired. Yeah, I know. I've never done one of these live streams on this channel before, and I can't believe I made it all the way to 2.5 hours. So thank you guys who've been watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. Once again, for old fans that are not like Fallout Equestria fans, I will not flood my channel with nothing but like monologue live streams, I swear. But we're gonna try to do this every once in a while. I will try to do like, you know, this will force me to create more songs too. So then I have to put a few songs in between every live stream. And I've written down all of your suggestions from the chat, and I will mull them over, chat. So thank you for your suggestions, and thank you for being a fan for all these years. We got at least one or more year of SkyBolt, so that's it's gonna be fun. All right. So I love you guys, and I will talk to you later.